12 unique ways choosing your final resting place after you die. It's now possible to have a death style that reflects your lifestyle. This not only creates more communication around death, but it also helps those left behind with the grieving process. You can now do something for your mother, father, or spouse that feels more positive. Less traditional send-offs can also help tackle some practical concerns. An ashes ceremony doesn't have a deadline. It takes the pressure off the decision-making. Family and friends can take their time to organize something that suits their budget, timeframes, and travel commitments. And if there is a disagreement, then the ashes can be split so that everyone gets to do something meaningful in their own way. However, this explosion of choice can come with a downside. People can start to worry that they've done the wrong thing, such as put the ashes in the wrong place, or that they should have had a priest at the ceremony. Which is why it's so important that you make your actual wishes known in your will. And with that in mind, here are 12 ideas you might want to consider. 1. Leave a mark. It's possible to combine ashes into a vial of tattoo ink that can then be used as part of a loved one's tattoo design. This can't be done as a DIY service, as, not only must the ashes be sterilized, the molecule size of the ashes must be changed to ensure it will work within the tattoo process. 2. Natural burial. Here, you're not buried in a churchyard, but a field, forest, or another wild piece of land. If you have a coffin, it's likely to be made from cardboard, or another biodegradable material, or you can just be buried in a shroud. Some of the practical benefits include a lower cost. A natural burial costs around £1,150, a traditional one closer to £5,000, and it's also kinder to the environment. When you talk to people about this type of burial, a positive feeling comes through that we don't see with traditional burial. People like that they will be surrounded by trees, birds, and animals. It feels like ending up in a place full of life and activity rather than a cemetery which is as dry as dust. 3. Donate yourself to science. Every year around 1,500 people inquire about this option, where your remains might be used in medical research or to teach future doctors or surgeons their craft. Many donors state a desire to make a contribution to the advancement of medicine and to be useful after death. But if you want to choose this option, it's essential that you give consent before your death. No one else can give this permission. 4. Float out in a Viking boat. Add your ashes to the miniature replica of a wooden longboat, set it on fire, and then send it out on water just as depicted in Viking legend. There's something about fire and water that's very healing. Viking boat urns have particularly helped some very hurt families cope with their loss of their children. 5. Get shot into space. Auraflight started offering this service in 2017. Choose it and your ashes will soar 100,000 feet above the Earth, then be released into the upper portions of the stratosphere. Carried around the globe by winds, they eventually fall back to Earth in rain or snow. 6. Be a firework. It's not quite as futuristic as a space mission, but it's a lot more fun. Tribute fireworks require around 200 to 400 grams of ashes that can be added into rockets and other whiz-bangs and launched hundreds of feet into the sky before you explode in a cascade of color. 7. Became a coral reef. The less mafioso way of sleeping with the fishes, Eternal Reefs is a service where ashes are mixed with environmentally friendly concrete and then sunk onto the ocean floor as an artificial reef. Families receive the reef's coordinates and many choose to visit the reef later, boating and diving to see all the marine life thriving around their loved one. 8. Glitter in some jewelry. Jewelry designer Ruth Mary made her first piece of memorial jewelry in 2017. It included the ashes of a baby girl. She only needed a pinch of ashes, then mix them with resin and hardener before setting it into the jewelry. You can incorporate jewelry inherited from your loved one or come up with a unique design that reflects the deceased. 9. Be part of a record. Your ashes can be pressed into a vinyl disc playing a spoken message to keep you alive for generations. 10. Float off in a bubble. Paula Dybowski Bryant was more used to creating bubbles for children's parties, but after combining her father-in-law's ashes into a bubble to float in Andorra, a place he'd always wanted to visit, she felt it was a send-off others might appreciate. 11. Live within a tree. Companies like the Living Urn incorporate containers of ashes into the root system of a young sapling, so, once planted, you and the tree live as one forever. Right now, you can only plant the tree on your own land, but they're working to create memorial forests in the UK in the next few years. 12. Water cremation. It's not yet legal, but that's likely to change by next few years. In the process, water, heat and chemicals are used to break down the body in about 4 hours. This leaves just bones that can be powdered and treated like ashes, and fluid that can be poured back into the earth. With a cremation contributing the same amount of greenhouse gases as using 2 tanks of fuel in a car and burials using up land, it's the most planet-friendly solution so far. And again, that's something many people feel positively about. There's a real feeling of giving back to the earth.